Welcome back. Now the cluster is up and running and everything is configured properly as we saw in the last couple of videos. We can start deploying Jupyter and then Galaxy. So the first thing we'd like to do here is to clone another GitHub repository. If you look at this command here, we're cloning this repository called cloud-deploy-kubenow from the phenomenal account. And notice I'm cloning with ---- recursive, and this is because the repository has submodules. If I hit enter, don't worry if you get any warnings or errors. This is just because it's trying to download stuff that we don't have permission to download. But what we get now is more than enough for us to be able to deploy Jupyter and then Galaxy. So if we look at the contents there, then we can find some path to playbooks, and this bin directory is quite important. One thing we'd like to start off with here is to basically create an environment variable that points to this directory. Let me just copy quickly the command I've already prepared to put here. So what you do is you just provide the full path to this directory, and this is where it's sitting on my home directory. So /home/nsadawi/ cloud-deploy-kubenow. Hit enter. That's one thing. And the other thing we wanted to talk about here is, if you remember when we deployed the core components, we avoided using Cloudflare, and this is because we're running a local virtual cluster, so we don't need Cloudflare as DNS. But what we need to do here is we need to come up with a domain name so we can use it to actually connect to the Jupyter server. And to be able to do that, we're going to come up with something with the domain. And we're going to also, have it as an environment variable. So my domain equals something like maybe phenomenal.local or something like that. Should be fine. Right. That's the second thing. And the third thing is we're going to have a Jupyter protected by a password. If we look at the contents of the bin directory, then we can see here that we have generate-jupyter-password. We're going to use that to create a password. Feel free to have a look at the content of this shell script to see how the password is created. And as you can see here, we have generate Galaxy API key. We'll have a look at that when we actually deploy Galaxy. But let's now create a password and then save it in an environment variable. So let me just copy quickly the command that I already prepared here. If you look at this command here, what I'm doing here is I'm declaring Jupyter password environment variable, and I'm running that script. I'm passing it password. This is the password I chose, Noureddin, just my first name. I don't normally do that, but let me just modify this so you can see it completely. Right, you can see it in full. Export Jupyter password, the path to the shell script, and then pass it the password. Hit enter, and then we should be able to have the password saved in that environment directory. That environment variable. So if I view the contents, I can see the scrambled version of that password. Excellent stuff. Now we're quite ready to actually deploy Jupyter. What I need to do here is I need to cd into kubenow and then run this command. Basically, it's an Ansible playbook. So if we look at so if you remember, we've actually saved the path to that cloud cloud deploy kubenow folder. We can have a look at the playbooks in there. I'm sorry, this should be without the slash, and we can see that we have YAML files for Galaxy, and then we can have a look at Jupyter as well. And you can see that we've got the YAML files there. So these are the files that are going to be used to deploy Jupyter. And then the command to do that is this a bit longish command, sudo ansible-playbook, and then pass it as an environment variable, the domain variable that we created, and then the Jupyter password that we created. I'm sorry, we're running out of space. And then basically the portal app repo folder, so the path to playbooks Jupyter main.yml, the one we saw here, right? To be more specific, this one here. Okay, hit enter and it will deploy Jupyter. It shouldn't be long. Right, so Jupyter now is being deployed. Let's have a look at what's happening in the background. So I'm going to SSH into the master cube now master 01. Okay, so we're inside the master. We can have a look at the pods. We've seen this command before. If you notice now, we've got more in this list here, and one of them should be our Jupyter. There you go, there it is. And as you can see, it's container creating. So the status is container creating. This is because it's downloading Jupyter from Docker Hub. This will take about 3 to 4 minutes maybe. Depends on your internet speed, and depends on also maybe the pressure on the Docker server, on the Docker Hub server. But we can, in the meanwhile, run another command now to see things in more detail. We can do kubectl describe pod, and then we give it this Jupyter pod, and we get lots and lots of more details, right? So we get the container ID, maybe whose image it is. This is Marco Cappuccini, our colleague from Uppsala University in Sweden. The status is still waiting, so container is still being created, and then some information about the volumes and mounts. You got it there with the read-write permissions, and lots of other details. Perhaps here one interesting thing is it's saying it's successfully assigned Jupyter to kubenow node 04, so it's running there. If you run it another time, if you deploy it another time, it could go to maybe 02, 01. We don't actually care where it's running as long as it's available, right? So let's have another look. Perhaps it's ready. No, not yet. So let me pause the video and I'll see you when it's ready. Welcome back. Let's double check. Excellent. Jupyter now is ready, and we should be able to access it. But in order to access it, there's a small configuration that we need to do, and I'll show you how to do that in the next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.